Hi again, this is Chandra with Genuine Heart Counseling. I'm a licensed counselor, a hand-in-hand parenting guide, and a synergetic play therapist in Longmont, Colorado. I've just been taking some time over these last many weeks to talk about some of the things that are coming up for me in a hopes that they're helping others. There's a lot of uncertainty out there, there's a lot of stress out there, there's a lot of us that are coping well with this crazy time, and then there's also just kind of a heaviness that I think we're all feeling to a greater or lesser degree. One of the things that I wanted to talk about today, there's actually two pieces that I wanted to talk about. One is grief and one is empowerment. And so the reason that this is coming up for me right now is that I'm noticing this conversation is coming out of my mouth more and more, probably because I'm working through my own process of grief around this. The thing that I'm noticing is that most of my days I'm actually feeling fairly buoyant. I've put in a good schedule. I feel like I'm exercising. I feel like I'm finding my time for meditation. Both of those things are very important to my self-care. I'm spending time with my partner. I'm spending time outside. Those things are all really, I know that they're really key for me and my self-care. And so that's all happening well. And I'm kind of engaged in my day. I'm feeling fairly invested in supporting clients and moving through this process. And so at the end of the day, I'm feeling like I've spent my time well. But what I'm also noticing is that there's this heaviness that's there and this sense of sadness and grief around the fact that this is still out there, that there's a pause at the end of my days where I'm noticing that my mind is kind of remembering almost that this stressor is happening, that there's people out there that are suffering, there's people out there that are hurting, there's people out there that are feeling very, very overwhelmed right now and don't have those kinds of self-care in place for themselves, and this is a really overwhelming time for them. And so that's coming up for me. It's not something that feels like it's happening all day, but I'm noticing that it's there. And so I just wanted to name that for people so that you guys could also start reflecting. One of the first videos that I talked about was this sense of kind of up and down, where we might be feeling inspired at one moment and then later feeling really overwhelmed and just exhausted. And I think that this grief factor is part of that. It's going to be part of our process. There's a lot that we're missing. There's a lot of things that are not getting to happen in our world and just in the world at large. I'm thinking about graduations right now that didn't happen and young people that were really excited for their summer before college and that enthusiasm of what was coming, and that's not there. That's only one factor that's impacting us as a culture, as a country. So this idea of grief is just out there for me right now, and I wanted to share that, again, just to normalize for people if that's helpful. The other thing that I noticed just the other day was this sense of empowerment, and so I wanted to kind of couple that with this sense of grief, because that's actually, I think, where a lot of us are. There's conflicting feelings that are happening. So in the midst of this grief that I'm naming about my own experience, there's also this piece of empowerment that I've noticed. I was talking with my martial arts community, and they were asking kind of, how this has been for me. And the thing that I noticed was that even though there's many places in my life right now where I don't have a sense of control and that I can't actually make a big impact, what I've noticed is that my own kind of wisdom came out and challenged myself. And so I've put things in place to kind of challenge and meet my challenge and be able to celebrate and watch my own accomplishments and my own movement forward. Many of us might feel like we're not moving anywhere. And so finding those ways in your life where you are moving forward, whether it's with an exercise routine or whether it's maybe with a new skill or a new art that you're learning, finding ways to see your movement forward, I think will help to kind of balance that sense of grief or that sense, like I said, of not having control over many of the other aspects in our life. So I noticed that I'm talking really fast this time, and so I'm hoping that this came across and that you guys are able to connect with this, and that this offers again, just some perspective to help you manage through this, and sending good thoughts. So take good care. Bye-bye.